Air rifles are not toys, they're serious weapons. Used primarily for hunting, air rifles should only be handled by trained, licensed professionals. Chemically, air rifles use one of three types of power depending on their design, all of which utilize compressed air instead of an explosive charge. Handling air rifles should always be treated in a serious manner. It is very important to follow proper storage and operating safety guidelines to ensure it does not go off accidentally. Air rifles are made out of pre-machined parts for the trigger assembly. To build one half of the trigger housing, a craftswoman uses a jig to align the end pieces to the side plate. Then she screws the parts together. She attaches the release latch to the inside of the trigger housing and installs a base for the trigger shoe. She hooks one end of a spring to the side plate and the other end to the release latch. A second spring links the first spring to the trigger shoe base. Next, a lever is installed which releases the firing pin. Once the trigger shoe and the trigger are attached, the assembly is complete. This part absorbs the recoil effect from firing. A technician inserts the recoil spring in a cylinder and adjusts the tension. He slides the recoil assembly into the bolt housing. The bolt housing seals the end of the gun barrel. He installs the recoil system in the housing, a lever for cocking the rifle, and inserts a lever pin. This end screw will enable the user to adjust the cocking position. He attaches the firing pin and the spring system, and builds the air pressure regulator by joining metal rings with rubber seals to create the housing. He stacks washer springs on a shaft. He inserts the assembly into the regulator housing and attaches an air pressure adjustment mechanism to the end. Using a special measuring device, he connects the regulator to an air cylinder. The cylinder feeds compressed air to the pressure regulator. The measuring tool indicates the regulator's performance. If needed, he'll adjust the pressure setting. A technician inserts the pressure regulator in the firing chamber housing and places a rubber seal in another opening, followed by a spring. The spring will open and close the one-directional valve that supplies compressed air to the firing chamber. Once the valve is installed, he joins the firing chamber to the recoil assembly. The two units are held together with substantial screws. Assembly of the air rifle's mechanics are now complete. A metal cover is screwed on top of the trigger system. Meanwhile, automated drills bore into steel cylinders to convert them into rifle barrels. A technician aligns one of the barrels to the firing chamber. Using a spacer tool, he tweaks the barrel's placement against the firing chamber and tightens the bolt to the barrel. The trigger system is run through a test using a special machine that measures the force it takes to open the valve. An inspector fires the air rifle to measure the pellet's velocity and the accuracy of the shot. He adjusts the tension on the firing pin spring. He loads the rifle again and fires it once more to confirm the accuracy of his adjustments. Another technician attaches the stock, also called the shoulder stock, to the rifle. He screws the compressed air cylinder to the pressure regulator, securing it in place.